Hi, my name is William Herman, and today I'm giving my persuasive speech about gun control in America. I think this is a very big and important issue that a lot of times is talked about, but never really given any serious thought about the solutions that can be dealt with the problem. So I based most of my speech off of a Pew Research survey that stated that 53% of Americans in the survey wanted some sort of stricter gun laws. The survey was conducted in June 2021, and it was asked of around about 10,000 people that hold different backgrounds of life and personal opinions and political backgrounds. Um, Even if they wanted a gun, and they asked them about the laws around the area, and um, about half of them wanted stricter gun laws. Um, and so these are the results of the Pew Research Center's survey, and they conducted it to more specific categories as well right here. So a little bit of background information. So right now, there's actually more guns in America than people. Is The average is about 120 guns per 100 people in the United States. Um, Mass shootings are actually considered an epidemic in the United States. It's very rampant. And you don't really see this a lot in other countries. Um, and on average, the last 3 years, there's been about 600 mass shootings every year, which is about an average of two a day. Um, And we look down here, it's about around 50,000 people have died of gun deaths in the United States since 2021, and a little bit more than half of these was by suicide, and then around 20,000 was by murder or homicide, and that brings to the bigger picture of like mental health as well. And these are the statistics behind the mass shootings, and for the one right here where it says worst mass shooting since 1991. That was the year there was the assault weapons ban, and um, and that's when you've seen a lot of gun deaths go down. And since the reversal of that in the 2000s, gun deaths went back up. So my thesis is Americans and lawmakers need to work together and need to put more zeal into wanting gun reform that reduce gun violence and make our communities safer overall. And potential solutions to this can be background checks and banning of assault weapons. And this can also be improved access of mental health care and just changing the overall conversation about mental health care. A lot of people, um, a lot of people try to put down mental health care and try to make it seem like a bad thing to wanting to get mental health. So I think just changing the overall conversation of wanting to people want to go and seek help. I think that should be the that should be a that should change the conversation a bit. You see a lot of people go to the doctor when they're not feeling well, or they go to the doctor, if they're sick. I think I think the same mentality should be, if you're not feeling well mentally, I think you should go and seek help. And it shouldn't be a bad thing. I think some people need days off. They need mental health, help. And so I think we need to change the overall conversation about that as well. So the first thing is background checks. Um, So with background checks, so about 40% of gun sales, they don't need a background check. This is called the gun show loophole. This means if you can either go to a gun show or you can buy off another person, and you don't need to run a background check. Um, and the theory behind that is, the person that's buying a gun from another person, they know them personally, so they know if they're mentally stable or not to own a gun. Um, but sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that, and sometimes it's a random person by another gun off a random person, and they don't know each other. And again, they don't need a background check, so that gets through the loophole. And now we have someone that has a gun that doesn't need to have a gun. I believe by having background checks on all buyers, whether this buyer from another person or if it's a buyer from a gun show, you can filter out many people that doesn't need a gun, such as felons, that have like domestic violence charges or charges that deal with violence. Doesn't need to have a gun. Um, People that have mental problems, that need to get seek help. People that have problems with suicidal thoughts, those are people that we can filter out if we have background checks on 100% of gun sales instead of just 60. Um, And see, it also acts as a deterrent for people like that want to do bad deeds with guns because now they have to go and get a background check, and now you can have authorities see that this person's trying to have a background check, and that can act as a deterrent to people for people wanting to get guns, and that can definitely help relieve the gun deaths in the United States just by having background checks on 100% of the sales. So the counter argument to background checks and banning of assault weapons is many people believe that background checks infringe on the Second Amendment. A lot of people see it's like a overreach of power by the federal government, and they say it's like obstacles to get in the way of just to use the right to bear arms. It's like the government's putting an obstacle in our way for us to not even want to buy our to not even want to buy guns because they're putting obstacles in our way to make it harder. Um, and that's true. You're just like if you're someone that's a law-abiding citizen, it can be very difficult to understand sometimes that other people make it harder for you to want to use your rights. Like there isn't a background check on the First Amendment or the Fifth Amendment. So a lot of people see this as like a infringement on our rights, and that's a valid point. But the rebuttal to that is by just banning weapons of war, weapons that use caliber bullets such as 5.56 and 7.62s from a civilian market, you can reduce gun deaths, gun lethality as well, um, and the caliber bullet that's used in guns such as AR-15 is a 5.56 millimeter, and the way whenever they make impact on a human body, the bullet explodes and it sends shrapnel across the body, making it more holes. It tears through tissue more, and it leads to more bleeding, and also leads to more damage to internal organs. That makes the lethality of the bullets higher than a bullet such as a 9 millimeter or a 22 caliber weapon that's used mostly in hunting. Um, so that's the reason if we was to ban these types of weapons, the lethality, the gun deaths of mass shootings would go down as well. So by having background checks and banning assault weapons, you reduce people that don't need to have guns from getting guns, and then bad people that do have guns, the lethality of their weapons aren't as strong. They won't kill as many people. Um, Now, of course, background checks and banning of solvents will not completely solve the problem. There will be cracks in the system. That's the way it is with anything. There will be cracks in the system, and then we'll have to work together to fill those cracks as well. Loopholes will always be right in the walls, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Um, Now the other thing to keep in mind is mental health care. This is extremely important. This is a aspect that's not talked about at all when we hear our debates, politicians. Um, Remember, the gun doesn't kill anyone; it's the person behind the barrel, and so we have to think about the person as well. How can we stop someone from delving into this sort of line of thought? Um, and so we look at it as 60% of gun deaths are by suicide, and the 37% are by homicides, and then the 3% miscellaneous is death by cop or some sort of killed. It's various different categories, but the two main ones is suicide, 60%, and 37 is homicides. And mental health is a crucial part, especially in the 60%. Um, I think making access to healthcare, mental health care especially, should be something that should be talked about more. It should be easily accessible to those people. Taking their own life should not be an option. Should not be something that should not be the first option they come to. So if we was to improve mental health care or improve the conversation around it, we would for sure, without a doubt, save many lives from suicide. Um, I think by just having a more positive attitude around mental health care, there will be less suicides, and it definitely give them a chance to want to come in and seek help instead of turning and trying to take their own life. They would be in a better place. They would be more willing to ask for help, and that's a good thing. No one it's a tragedy for someone to take their own life for any reason. So I think mental health care should be something that should be talked about a lot more. And then we talk about homicides. A lot of times there's a lot of times people try to take the chance to use a gun as a tool to help solve their problems, and that's not very good, and that's not wise. And I think by having mental health care, trying to use different tools to solve their problems without a gun, I think that would be better skill set to have, and that can you can learn that a lot from like mental health care. And I think again, when we look at doctors, when we get sick, we go to a doctor. I think the same should be when we're experiencing mental difficulties. We should be able to go and seek that without feeling judged. So the counter argument to mental health care is for it's very expensive. There's an aura surrounding it. It's looked down upon in our society, and it's again very expensive. And how would someone that needs that help pay for it if they're struggling, especially if they don't have the money to afford it? And so the counter argument to that is cost. The cost of something such as that shouldn't affect the person seeking help. Um, if it's for the benefit of society, I think the cost. I think the cost of mental health outweighs the cost of lives that are being taken from guns, and I think that shouldn't really be a talking point when we're trying to solve the issue. I think we're just trying to create more issues, and I think that's trying to create more issues, and that's just politics in general. So conclusion is that statistically, background checks and mental health and introducing laws that Americans want passed can help solve the issue of can help try to solve the issue of guns in America. Obviously, not these things will work to the extent we think they will, and we need to do a call to action. We need to do our part to engage with protests. We need to lobby our politicians for change. But the most single important thing we can do is vote. Um, as Americans, that's the strongest thing we can do is vote. So I think we should vote in politicians that we agree with when it comes to gun laws, and we should keep out the ones that we don't agree with, and that's for any sort of political change we want. Um, Vote in politicians that want to make laws that will keep our communities safe, our schools safe especially, um, and just try to help pass laws that will improve mental health care and improve gun laws that will just keep us safe. So my final thoughts is guns today aren't what the founding fathers could have imagined. They couldn't have imagined fully automatic weapons. Um, the science, the military science that goes into a weapon. They couldn't have imagined it back then. If you remember, the weaponry back then was muskets. It took very long to fire, very inaccurate. Um, they couldn't have imagined something being very accurate, very lethal, very accessible. Um, so I think that right now, I think one person's right to bear arms shouldn't interfere with one's to live in peace and happiness. And obviously, we in politics we see Republicans and politicians backed by the NRA, the National Rifle Association. Um, a lot of times we see when they talk about abortion, they talk about all lives matter. But I think one thing that a lot of people don't bring up is that if all lives matter, then why don't we try to push for walls that keep our kids safe in schools, from AR-15s, It seems that when it comes to that, guns are more important than life. And I think that's the final thought, is um, we need to keep our communities safe, and we should definitely try to improve our gun laws, and we should go out and vote. And I think those are the most important things we can do as Americans. And with that, I would like to conclude with my citations, and and that's it. All right, thank you for listening.